Well, we live in dangerous, crazy times. And I guess we've always known that. You wake up to the news that Shinzo Abe has been assassinated. Whoops, this is not the right article. This is the right article. Shinzo Abe explosives found at home in the shooting suspect's home. Made a homemade gun. Went out, used it, murdered someone, assassinated him. And it's disturbing. And then you find out he made a homemade gun with 2 shots, and both shots got into his target and killed him. And then you read about ceramic guns, ghost guns that can't be detected by metal detectors. And they're on airplanes and people and dogs and cats, and everybody's upset and everybody's wondering, what in the world is going on in the world? This is a guy just giving a speech. Why did you kill him? Oh, I didn't really have a reason, as far as we know so far. And it's hard to get a gun in Japan, but not when you can make your own. That's the gun. Absolutely insane. And as I was listening and reading about this assassination, I thought it's so interesting how we have so many of these political shootings of popular people by deranged personalities. One guy wrote an article saying it's because there are fatherless children. Even if the father's in the home, the father is not actively involved with the child. So pretty much blaming the child for not having a father is why you go out and murder people, at least in America. I don't think it makes any sense. And I was just thinking in my memory, in my lifetime, of when we've had these up-close and personal killings, up-close assassinations. And I pulled all my information from one website because these killings made history. History.com, 1981, March 30. President Regan shot by John Hinckley, who has been released from prison now. We'll talk about that in a moment. Wants to be a folk singer. Oh, gee. Injured James Brady. I wrote about him in bolesblogs.com. And Reagan was shot, wounded, and never really recovered. I guess it exacerbated his Alzheimer's. And then I kept thinking, well, Anwar Sadat was shot and murdered on a parade stage. John Paul II was shot. Going back even farther, Bobby Kennedy. All of these were up close and personal, where you probably could look into the eyes of your assassin if they were looking at you, and some of these people were shot in the back, like Abe. So 81, March of 81 was President Reagan getting shot. And then history tells us, in the same year, May 13, Pope John Paul II was shot, up close and personal. The assailant, a 23-year-old escaped Turkish murderer, fired 4 shots, one of which hit the pontiff in the abdomen, narrowly missing vital organs, and another that hit the Pope's left hand. Terrible. The Pope never really recovered. He recovered, but he was never the same. And how could you be? I mean, just if you recover from the bullets, it must be emotionally traumatizing to remember a day when someone tried to assassinate you. And then I thought of Anwar Sadat and how that was a nasty, up-close and personal murder. In the same year, 1981. I must have been in 81 a freshman in high school. Back in Lincoln, Nebraska. Lincoln Northeast, the Rockets. School colors. black and white. You really can't get more boring than black and white. Not even gray. I think they've now added maybe a little bit of red, but I'm not sure. But black and white, everything black and white. It's a nice combination, but for school spirit, for school color, not so great. And at that time, I think we had 4 high schools at that time. 5, 1 was private, 4 public. Lincoln Northeast, our colors were black and white. East, which at that time was the new high school, blue and white, which is a little bit better. We had Lincoln High, which is the oldest downtown Lincoln high school. Their colors were red and white. Lincoln Southeast, which was old money, their colors were black and gold. Stunning, really beautiful. And Pius, which was the Catholic high school, their colors were green and gold. Very attractive. Black and white, pretty ugly. And if you want to mix it together, well, then you get gray. So in 1981, the president of Egypt was assassinated. Islamic extremists assassinate Anwar Sadat, president of Egypt, as he reviews troops on the anniversary of the Yom Kippur War. The terrorists, all wearing army uniforms, stopped in front of the reviewing stand and fired shots and threw grenades into a crowd of Egyptian government officials. Sadat, who was shot 4 times, died 2 hours later. 10 other people also died in that attack. So who knew 1981 was so bloody and up close and personal? Assassinations and assassination attempts. Reagan in March. The Pope in May. And Sadat in October. Now that's a bloody day and a bloody night, and we wonder where we go from here. Even if you go back in time, Bobby Kennedy in 1968, fatally shot. Sirhan. My lifetime, I was 3 years old, not really of my memory, but I guess it counts. Star athletes Rayford Johnson and Roosevelt Greer, Rosie Greer, accompanied Kennedy out a rear exit of the Ambassador Hotel. Sirhan stepped forward with a rolled-up campaign poster hiding his .22 revolver. He was only a foot away, up close and personal, when he fired several shots at Kennedy. Greer and Johnson wrestled Sirhan to the ground, but not before 5 bystanders were also wounded. Greer was distraught afterward and blamed himself for allowing Kennedy to be shot. And Sirhan's trying to get out of jail. He's been in jail ever since. Oh, I was brainwashed. Oh, I didn't know what I was doing. But John Hinckley didn't kill Reagan, just wounded him. Didn't quite kill James Brady, but severely wounded him. Well, he's out from court. Helps when you have a sort of rich and famous family to get you out of trouble when you need it. John Hinckley's freed from court. And it was recent. He just got out, June 15th. He hasn't even been out a month. John Hinckley Jr., who shot and wounded President Ronald Reagan in 1981, was freed from the court oversight Wednesday, officially concluding decades of supervision by legal and mental health professionals. After 41 years, 2 months, and 15 days, freedom at last, John Hinckley wrote. on Twitter shortly after noon. Lifting all restrictions had been expected since late September. U.S. District Court Judge Paul Friedman in Washington had said he would free Hinckley on June 15 if he continued to remain mentally stable in the community in Virginia, where he has lived since 2016. Hinckley, who was acquitted by reason of insanity, spent the decades before that in a Washington mental hospital. And now here's where it gets really rich. John Hinckley wants to go on the road. John Hinckley wants to sing you songs. Songs from the jailhouse. The Hinckley Blues. Reagan's would-be assassin has begun to line up shows this summer. We asked two DC clubs if they would lend him a hand. And John Hinckley has YouTube videos where he sings and performs just for you. It's just wildly sickening. Indie music John Hinckley Jr., well, better known as the man who shot Ronald Reagan outside the Washington Hilton in 1981, is booking a national redemption tour after spending decades in a psychiatric facility and several years in the care of his late mother. Hinckley is scheduled to be unconditionally released from the court in June. To celebrate, he's lined up July shows in Brooklyn and Chicago. And he tweeted last week to stay tuned for more dates. Ugh. Reagan Foundation recently condemned Hinckley's apparent desire to make a profit from his infamy. Really, if he hadn't shot Reagan, would anybody care? Would anybody be interested to go sit in a darkened room and listen to him sing to you? To play music for you? The Brooklyn Revenue, the venue that will host Hinckley in July, tweeted that, hey, Hinckley served 40 years in prison. Mental health treatment paid his debt to society. Besides, the Brooklyn venue hosted in a separate tweet, Hinckley didn't F up a billionth as many lives as the Reagan admin did. I mean, that's just, wow. John Hinckley Jr. to play sold-out concert after unconditional release. Whew. Unbelievable. So what else is John Hinckley saying to us? Hey, April 8th, big news. I'll be performing on July 8th at the Market Hotel in Brooklyn. Get your tickets while you can. And here's some interesting news, inevitable news. The Market Hotel has rescinded its offer to let you play there after a few hours of backlash. And another person says, please come to California. Why am I even looking at his Twitter page? Because he's infamous and he's famous. And he's insane or not insane? Insane in the membrane? Insane? I don't know. And he's following no one, which is bad protocol on Twitter. But what are you going to expect from a guy who attempts to assassinate a president? Think he's going to follow the rules? Think he's going to play the right chord sequence? Of course he's not going to follow anyone. You follow me. I'm John Hinckley. Oh, and he's the footsteps of John Wayne Gacy. My original painting is just listed on eBay, and he posted that 6 minutes ago. Here's the link. These original oil paintings of mine sell fast. I usually post the painting between 9 and 10 in the morning. Well, he did post it, 9:18. Keep an eye out if you want one. Well, now I have to go look at it, because what am I going to do? I've gone down the monkey hole. Not the monkey pox hole. The monkey hole. Oh. Well, this looks like exactly what you would expect from John Hinckley. Yeah, this is not really surprising. You would expect to see this. That makes sense. The person who attempted to assassinate Ronald Reagan would paint that. And that image has 12 likes, but no comments. See what people are saying 19 hours ago. Oh, here you go. Would you please ship your paintings to Ireland? Oh, and some advice. Why don't you just post it as an auction so you can get top dollar? How much do you sell them for? You're not charging enough. Can you help me, John Hinckley, attempted assassinate of Ronald Reagan? Can you help me sell my painting? Could you maybe sign my painting and sell it for me? If I don't get it one in time the first time, do I get another shot? I cannot believe this. Where's the Twitterverse coming up? Giving him big trouble. Now here we go. Paint a portrait of Jim Brady. Use this pose, where you can see he was shot in the head. Those are the scars because of John Hinckley. Now that I like. Oh, and he's a maggot nut. I wasn't sure if he was being genuine or being nasty. Now I think we know, and I'm not going to put a like on that. Wow. Shocking. I just can't. I can't believe this is our America. Happy 4th of July. 1981. Not such a good year for politicians or religious leaders or Americans, because we all have to deal with the bloodshed in one way or another. And now we're taking our very first, very brief blood pressure break. Returning in a moment.